If you don't know what Mediamonks is or what we do, it's kind of difficult to summarize it. If it's digital, we can create it. I only have 10 minutes, so I'll look at the website. Today I'm going to talk about one of the cooler projects that we did lately, which is a VR project. We helped out in ways of emerging and immersive tech. So I work for a new division called Mediamonks Labs. Either the battery died or there's a screensaver here. You have a code? Yeah, that's okay. So Mediamonks Labs is relatively small. We try to use and upuse new technologies in ways that it's, to figure out new stuff that we can do. And some of the things for VR that we did is incorporated in this project as well. It started off here. It's together with Amazon, we created a VR project for Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan is a new television show for Amazon, and for Comic-Con we created quite a large VR experience, as they call it. But you can see it in the back here. It's like a small theme park. It really was huge, even to our standards. It all starts with this guy. You may know him as Jim Harper, I believe, from The Office. And in the television series, he looks much more handsome. That's him. And this kind of summarizes the story of the television show as well. There's this paper guy, and he's been asked to go into the field and do amazing stuff and become sort of like a James Bond, even though he's not educated for it. And we thought, we're going to do the same thing. So what we proposed to Amazon is this space. So it's in the middle of San Diego in one of the squares. What you can see in the back is the installation itself. And in the front you see areas where people can just rest up, have a drink, go to food trucks, whatever. But you can see the size of it. It's about 1/3 of the entire area. There's helicopters and boards and cars and zip lines and everything. So I'm going to take you through each step of what people did, just to give you an idea of what the experience is, and then end up with a little video of somebody actually reviewing it. So this is the second thing that we did with Amazon, try to colorize it a little bit to get a better sense of what we are going to deliver. It's not meant to look good in that sense, it's just meant to really communicate what we are trying to build here. So there are many iterations of the same image with more and more details, like the back of the chopper that you see here has eventually not been made because there's no space and it was overhanging and there are permits and everything, so long story. So the thing though is, if you have a really big area where you're walking around with VR, you have a bit of an issue because of tethering and wires and all that, everything that you would need for high-end VR experiences. So this is a very simple summary of all the technology that we use. We have the HTC Vive, obviously. And then we have a thing called TPcast, which is the little device on top of it, which is excuse me, the little device that's used for communication. So all the wireless communication, Wi-Fi, everything is on that in a sort of broadband system. Then we have the Zotac VR Go, which is like a laptop in the form of a backpack. It's quite powerful. It can do everything, including all the wireless communication. Then we have the OptiTrack. These are kind of expensive, going like $2,000 a piece, and we needed, I don't know, a couple of hundred of them to track everybody. So it was kind of difficult to defend to Amazon, but we managed to do it. This is the first step. So you have a whole helicopter, and you get the VR headset on, and then we actually pull you out of the helicopter, and which kind of looks like this. People don't really realize what's happening. So within VR, you get the sense that you are flying in a helicopter. There's a fan mounted on the bottom, so you actually feel the wind, and you're all hooked up, but you don't see anything except for what we let you see. So as soon as you get pulled out, you kind of freak out. But that's a cool thing, and this, we had to test it ourselves to make sure it's not dangerous. And the only way to do it without spoiling the fun for everybody is doing it at night, which was even more scarier, you know. But it worked out. It was a lot of fun. So you land, you get to walk to this board that you need to cross. And you know, we kind of borrowed this from other VR experiences. Of course, everybody knows this, or maybe have done this themselves. You see a crevasse and you think you can fall, but you don't really fall. So nothing really happens. At most, you can topple around, and there's always somebody of the organization around you, you know, yelling at you, saying, "Follow my voice and come here." So when you've done that, you're fully immersed into the experience, and then this guy shouts, "Get down!" and you don't really know what's happening, and he's like tapping the wooden boxes, and you just duck because you don't know what to do. And then there's a gun there, and you start with a shootout. So you shoot all the enemies that you see. You see somebody beside you shooting as well to give you a sense of, you know, team effort. But it's actually the people guiding you throughout the experience. And then at this point you're fully immersed, you don't really know what's going on. And then the second thing is we push you out of the building that we've made, a zip line, so we connect you and you actually go into a new area. From a technical point of view, this was the most difficult because the OptiTrack system only allows for a certain area, and ours was bigger. So what we did is actually have two separated areas and use the zip line as sort of a transition mode. So if you go into the zip line, we know where you are going, we know how fast you are going. So this is our window of opportunity to kind of connect you to the new area and make sure that everything is synced. And because you're shaking, your head's going everywhere, you know, if it's off by a couple of centimeters, you really wouldn't know. So it's kind of tricking people into thinking that everything is connected. So you land down, and then it's not over. There's actually a car chase. So you go into a car. The car is hydraulic, so it moves, and there's a guy sitting next to you shouting where you need to drive, and then at the very end you are probably sweaty, maybe even a bit seasick, but you're okay, and you had a fantastic experience. Take a couple of pictures because it's comical and people love to take pictures of themselves. So let's super quickly look at a video. Yeah, let's look.
Sitting here for IGN Access, presented by Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. Speaking of Amazon Prime Video's Jack Ryan, behind me, beautiful San Diego has been transformed into a hardcore training course. Thanks to the magic of VR and some actual physical activity, normal everyday people like yours truly can prove that they have what it takes to save the world. No pressure.
I have the best chance you have.
San Diego needs me. We're strapping in. It's becoming real. Can I save the world?
The ride is here. Follow me.
We can do this. We're training for this. I don't have time to explain. I'll try to keep up.
Go, Jack Ryan, Mr. Go, 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 go!
Wait, really? I just keep going. Okay, we're fine. I'm fine. I'm gonna sit on the edge of the helicopter, and then I think I'm putting this bad boy on, and we're gonna get started. Oh my gosh, sitting on the edge of a helicopter, and we're looking out at, oh, what is this?
Are you ready?
I don't know! Oh my god! So I'm rappelling down out of the helicopter on top of this building. I made it! Oh wow! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, we can't sit too long. Oh my gosh! It's all so fast. We'll get out of here. Okay, I'm jumping. I'm doing the thing. Oh my gosh, I'm like, this is happening. Congratulations, you made it to the safe house.
Mission
It
complete.
was absolutely insane. Oh my gosh, walking across that plane completely got me. Like, I thought I was going to fall to my death. That was crazy. And then rappelling off the helicopter. Oh my gosh, the zip line. I was zip lining in the sky. If you're at Comic-Con, you have to check this out. Speaking of which, for all...
Some good journalism. Thank you. Thanks very much. It's been such an amazing project to work on. It's kind of fun to see her trying to summarize it and being lost for words. We saw a couple of reviews of people going to these halls where you can do VR games like this, and they actually preferred this one over what they have experienced themselves. So it's kind of a shame that it only lasted for 4 days.
But you'll bring it to the next open house, right?
Of course, everything. It will probably fit this space easily. No, it's yeah. Thanks. One more thing. Yeah. So some details if you want to take a picture. You earlier talked about Magic Leap. We have a couple actually in the office. So if anybody is interested or wants to figure it out, or just give me a call. Thank you.